I'm so excited that Bob from Cheap RV Living is building a nation. And he's transferring the money from the haves to the have-nots. It's fantastic. It's something kind of like North Korea, but probably with a little more beardage. Because, of course, Moses had a beard, and he led the folks right out of tyranny, and Bob's going to do the same thing. But we need ideas to build this nation of Bob. First, and the most important thing to do this is to protect the Bob. Now, how's this going to happen? Let me show you some of the products and ideas to build the nation of Bob. Now, I know what you guys are all thinking. All great leaders should never be questioned, because we know all great nations are built upon leaders that are strong and get the job done and are never questioned. But we got a lot of celebrities that are coming on board to endorse the Bob. So I think it's important that myself and everybody else, we get on board Bob Nation. So you're wondering, how the heck did this all happen? Well, I was having breakfast, and out of my toaster pops this image of Bob, and I figured that was a sign. Of course, that's a sign of the divinity of Bob, and I know some of the Catholics might want to revere him. I'm not sure if that's appropriate, but if you want to, that's your business. But most important is to protect the Bob. Now, of course, Bob Nation has to be built on merchandising of all sorts of trinkets, especially the shiny ones. And, of course, you have to drink Bob, because drinking Bob is part of the whole ritual process. It's like a holy communion of sorts. Hey, what about Bob alphabet soup? I think it's a wonderful idea. And of course, you know how to give thanks whenever you eat it. Now, we can't forget that speaking engagements will be an integral part of the Bob Nation, because the leaders and the followers need to get together in communion so that the direction of the Bob Nation is clearly understood, so that you have the privilege to obey. And marketing is so critical to all of these things. Why not have the RV or car Bob wrap? Hey, that's quality transportation there, and of course you could sleep in that. Of course, that's a whole idea, isn't it? Now, you might think a few ideas are silly, but I do not think so. Now, for example, the Bob Latte, or the Bobbuccino, as the trademark will soon say, I think is brilliant, because coffee and nomads go together, just like flies on the poop of the dogs that are off leash in the desert. Now, controlling the story is always important when you build a nation. So I think a media empire would be apropos. Now, we cannot underestimate the profit potential of Bob art. Now, Bob art could be at all the fine galleries in San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, you know, all the places where the rich liberals live that are willing to pay for the have-nots, because it would just make sense, and it would be marketing genius. And stealing a little bit of wisdom from Scientology, Bob Nation, of course, needs a navy, and all the great leaders and the inner circle, or the big contributors, they get to go for a ride on a rubber tramp. And obviously, all great nations need their own airline to have some legitimacy. And of course, we will have Bob 1. The inner circle will be tempted, I know, to join the Mile High Club. But that's something you're going to have to negotiate with Bob, because that's a personal matter, and I can't even speculate on whether you want to do that or not. Lastly, of course, every great nation needs a flag, and here is the flag I have proposed. Everybody that is really good with allegory and symbolism will understand this flag and the universal meaning. The powerful force of the great phoenix rising, one talon extended, accepting the cash, the other one open to give. The black background symbolizing, oh yes, you guessed it. So in the meantime, folks, if you got any wonderful ideas to build Bob Nation, I want you to put her down. I want you to Photoshop her ideas. And most importantly, I want you to protect the Bob and stay safe while doing so. Over and out.